You know things are really bad when it's cheaper to buy plane tickets twice a week to fly to school than it is to just rent out an apartment in your university city. But this is exactly what's going on right now.
Commuting to class looks different for Tim Chen, who doesn't board a bus, but a plane to get to university. The arts student flies twice a week from Calgary to Vancouver, saving big bucks on rent.
This kid flies from Calgary to Vancouver twice a week just to attend class. This comes out to 2 round-trip tickets per week, which when he did the math, adds up to around $1,200 per month. What was scary is that not only is this cheaper than renting an apartment in Vancouver, his university city, it is significantly cheaper. In fact, it's almost twice as cheap as the average apartment in Vancouver, sits around $2,100 per month. Assuming he lives at home with his parents in Calgary, this saves him nearly $1,000 per month.
He pays roughly $150 per round-trip flight twice a week, about $1,200 per month total. That's half the average rent for a one-bedroom in the city.
I really wish this was satire, but this is a 100% true story. And at this point, I just have to ask, how much worse do things have to get before the older generations finally admit that they screwed over Gen Z? I feel like it's time we just scrunch up and throw away literally everything they told us, as it's blatantly obvious they're completely out of touch with how the real world works today. Trying to navigate the modern world using boomer logic as a young person is just an impossible game of chess, where you've already been checkmated, no matter what you try to do.
Oh, you should move out, grow up, and learn to pay your own bills.
$2,000 a month rent, checkmate.
You should go out and learn a skill if you don't want to work minimum wage.
$30,000 per year tuition, checkmate.
You should get a job and try to climb the corporate ladder.
The dogshit modern economy and job market, checkmate. There's literally no life path you can take in the modern day that's going to allow you to afford the traditional path. And this story is just a perfect example of it. Just spare me all the bullshit of, you need to acquire a skill if you don't want to work minimum wage. Oh yeah? So, how much is it going to cost me to acquire said skill? Are you literally just going to pretend that living expenses and tuition don't exist? As a matter of fact, I just realized something that's even more screwed up. This whole time I've been ranting about tuition, but even if tuition were free, rent prices alone have gotten so ridiculous that kids literally have to fly to school twice a week just to attend class. How the fuck are you delusional boomers going to sit there with a straight face and tell me to learn a skill when you made it infinitely unaffordable and impossible to learn? Said skill. How are you going to sit there with a straight face and tell me to move out and pay my own rent? When rent has gotten so bad, it's literally cheaper to fly a plane to school twice a week. And the most insane thing of all, how are you going to sit there with a straight face under all these conditions and tell me that I have it better than anyone in human history and that I should be grateful? Seriously, just GTFO with this nonsense? This isn't just an isolated incident either. Later in the video, they talked about how a lot of other students in that university are living in campers near the school because they can't afford the absurd rent costs anymore.
Vacancy rate. We've even seen UBC students living in vans when unable to afford rent.
This was the only financially viable option as I couldn't afford a bachelor suite of a.
Personally, I've seen more comments than ever lately from my own subscribers telling me that to save money, they're resorting to living in their cars at this point. We're literally living in cars, campers, and airplanes right now, because that's just how ridiculous these rent prices have gotten. And when you point out that this isn't normal, and that it's kind of bullshit that people working 40 hours a week shouldn't be living in their cars, you get called lazy and entitled. Don't let them gaslight you anymore. The first step towards solving a problem is properly acknowledging and diagnosing it. You're right to not want to work in these dog-shit economic conditions. You're right for living with your parents when rent prices are this bullshit. You're right for giving up on this BS system and just going your own way. The more you refuse to participate, the faster this BS system collapses, and the sooner our time will come when we get the chance to build a better one. With how much they've screwed things up, This society absolutely deserves to collapse, and we talk about it more in detail in this video right here.